Adolf Hitler's father was Alois Schicklgruber, the bastard child of Maria Schicklgruber, who changed his name to Hitler to hide the fact that he was an illegitimate child. Many historians have claimed that Maria was impregnated by Baron Rothschild when she worked for him. The Rothschilds have been known to breed thousands of illegitimate children under different names to serve the family's agenda. And their name isn't really Rothschild. In the late 18th century, Mayor Amschel Bauer was the private banker for the black nobility through the House of Hesse, and changed the family name just before expanding the family business. Rothschild means red shield, which was their company logo, a six-pointed star, which has become known as the Star of David. This was not a Jewish symbol. It was introduced by the Rothschilds, who later funded the Zionists. And in 1948, Rothschild influence compelled the State of Israel to adopt the hexagram as their national symbol. In the late 1800s, Cecil Rhodes set up a secret society to preserve the expansion of the British Empire. Known as the Milner Group, their main focus from 1920 to 1938 was to maintain the balance of power in Europe by building up Germany and pitting them against France and Russia. They discussed creating a situation that would compel Germany to start a Second World War. During this time, the reparations from the Treaty of Versailles led to hyperinflation in Germany. And in 1930, as the international banking system was collapsing, the Young Plan was enacted, which required Germany to pay about 2 billion Reichsmarks annually, payable through 1988. This scheme was funded by J.P. Morgan, led by the founder of RCA, and directed by members of the Milner Group. It broke the German economy. In 1933, Hitler secured funding from the Bank of England, which was run by the Rothschild banking dynasty. This deal was brokered by John Foster Dulles and Allen Dulles, who later headed the CIA. With initial funding from the Rothschild Bank of England, Germany invaded Poland and received additional funding from the Bush family's Brown Brothers Harriman. The Germans were fueled by Standard Oil and supported by Ford, General Electric, DuPont, and IBM, all of which profited greatly from the war. World War II accomplished the stated goals of the Milner Group. It made the banks and their cronies even richer, and it directly led to the creation of the United Nations and Israel. Theodor Herzl, the founder of the Zionist movement, was not a religious Jew. Officially, he was an atheist, but more likely, he was an occultist agent of the Rothschilds. He was no fan of the Jews. In his own words, he sympathized with anti-Jewish sentiment. His original plan was to have them all convert to Catholicism, and when that failed, he decided they should be expelled from Europe. In 1933, the Havara Agreement, or Transfer Agreement, was made between Nazi Germany and the Zionists, wherein German Jews would be sent to Palestine. Non-Zionist Jews did not want to leave, and so the Nazis encouraged them through persecution. In 1917, the British government announced its support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, known as the Balfour Declaration, and seized control of the land. After the Second World War, with Holocaust propaganda used as the catalyst, this land was gifted to the Zionists from the British, and the State of Israel was officially created. Between 1947 and 1949, the Zionists murdered the locals, destroyed hundreds of villages, and expelled more than 700,000 Palestinians. A savage invasion celebrated every May 15th, known as Nakba Day. Before Zionism created the State of Israel, Jews did not have a common language or nationality, and they were not considered to be a race. The historical record tells us that the Khazars were known for starting wars through deception, and about 700 years ago, they all converted to Judaism. These are the Ashkenazi Jews, who later became Zionists and persecuted the Sephardic Jews of Palestine. They do not follow the teachings of the Torah. They follow the Talmud, ancient teachings that can be described as anti-Christian or satanic. The motto of Israeli Mossad, by way of deception, thou shalt do war, really sums up the nature of Zionism, which includes evangelical Christians and certain sects of Islam. With 80% of the world being religious, religion is the easiest way to ignite a war, which is what the central banks always want. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.